live from our headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria. If you just joined us, it's still Enterprise Morning right here on Enterprise Television. Now to our main conversation for today. Queues for petrol have resurfaced across filling stations in Lagos and the Federal Capital Territory (FCT), with lengthy queues at several Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited and NPCL retail stations, Total Energies filling stations in Abuja and also in Lagos.
That's very true. Speaking on this situation, Clement Isong, Executive Secretary at Major Energies Marketers Association of Nigeria, MEMAN, attributed the scarcity to delay in loading petroleum products at various depots.
And according to him, trucks could not load products for over 48 hours during the storm. On its part, the NNPC Limited attributed the petrol queues in the FCT as primarily caused by the disruption of ship-to-ship transfer of petrol between mother vessels and daughter vessels, which were due to thunderstorms and the consequential flooding of trucking routes, which constrained movement of petrol to Abuja from coastal corridors.
True. The NPCL further stated that adverse weather also affected berthing at jetties, truck loadouts, and transportation of products to filling stations, causing a disruption in station supply logistics.
Also, flammability of petroleum products and in compliance with the Nigerian Meteorological Agency (NIMET) regulations, it was impossible to load petrol during rainstorms and lightning, which could pose severe danger to trucks, filling stations, and human lives.
But the NNPCL said it is collaborating with relevant stakeholders to resolve the logistics challenges and restore the smooth supply of petrol to affected areas, whilst calling on motorists to avoid panic buying and hoarding of petroleum products.
All right, in the studio still to discuss this and more, Mr. Vansofeli and Dr. Olainka Oyebile. Thank you, gentlemen, for hanging on. And now, Mr. Vansofeli, this is another classical case of the proverb, a bad man quarrel with his tools, isn't it?
Very well. I think the problem we have here is the problem of storage. So because if we are going to run into scarcity just because of a 10-hour rainfall that flooded the coastal waves, then it means that we do not have sufficient PMS in the country on storage. We don't. Nigeria is not the only country where you have flood. In fact, we don't even have flood. Ours is just seasonal. We only have flood June, July, sometimes in August, in early August. We don't have flood more than 2-3 months. There are countries where anytime it rains, if there's flood, don't they have a way of discharging and collecting? And even those countries are not even producers of crude and or PMS as it were. So this analysis points to the fact that if anybody tells you that all this one NNPC to say that we have enough that will take us for 1 month, 2 months and all that, is not true. It's a lie. These are just exposed it. Because if we have enough in storage, we don't need to go offload when we have when you have storm or you have flood. We don't need that. We'll use what we have internally. Storage until the rain and the water abates. Okay? Now, you see how it is also not good to keep on doing the manual way. You see, Abuja is affected, Lagos is affected, because we are trucking PMS, we are trucking diesel. There is nowhere in the world where they truck diesel. Trucking used to be in the 18 something, and another. Maybe now in 1956, when we started and all that. After some years, people transport this product through pipelines. There was then we're transporting the product through pipeline from Lagos to Kaduna, pipelines only, and you will have it in abundance. Rain will not disturb it, so you can move it. It will be all over the country. When it lands, it can be all over the country the next 1 hour through piping. Okay, but now we're trucking it manually from here to Abuja to Maiduguri, not minding the risk. The risks involve the fact that it also contributes to overheating the roads and all that. You don't have railway to move things. So I think, you see, the problem of logistics in this country has not been solved. the government that came in, we thought they would look into, they will further entrench the railways and all that. But the truth is that the loan we even took to have the railway, the non-functionable railway, is even overburdening itself. And we are not still able to move these goods effectively. So, I mean, I wonder how maybe the international community will be looking at this news this morning, that the reason there is now scarcity is because of rainfall.
Yes, but Barrister, I'd love to be in the same situation as the truckers. Just assume you are one of the stakeholders. You have lots of those trucks, and logistics is what you do. Would you have advised that piping substitute your business?
No, it's not about. We're talking about national issue. It's not. We're not talking business. If this morning show is about business, and maybe you have brought me as an expert in trucking, and I will give you analysis on trucking. And we're talking about a national affair. Okay, so why should we have scarcity just because of a natural phenomenon, rainfall? That's what I'm saying. I'm not against those who own trucks and who are doing their business. Okay, in fact, trucking has become a necessity because we are not piping. Okay, one of the options must fly.
Okay,
Abi? So we are not piping. So trucking is a necessity. Those who do business there will continue as long as we want to be here, until maybe we'll go back to piping and all that. But the main issue I'm talking about is that whether trucking or piping or whatever, we do not have enough storage.
Thank you, Barrister. Let's hear from you, Olaika.
Even at that, you see, what we always talk about when you are talking about all these things is that necessity is the mother of invention. And we cannot say because in those days we were doing business this way and invention had brought in a better way to do it, then we'll continue to do it. Okay, let's assume now that the time or where trucks were invented, if they no longer need it and they are no longer manufacturing trucks, are we going to say we will not transport fuel? No. But you see, what we have seen here is that from 1999, or in fact, from the time the issue of fuel scarcity has been in Nigeria, just go to the archives, bring out all the statements that the NNPC or the government have issued then. It is the same reason they gave in 1978 that we are still giving in 2024. We have shortage of truck, rain has fallen, this. Is it only in Nigeria that rain falls? It is not. Look, the best way out of this thing is give this business to those who have the expertise. Now, in Nigeria, we have universities where they study transportation. What is the essence of really getting a PhD or pushing out a graduate of transportation when we cannot solve the small issue of fuel supply? Now, you cannot continue to do trucking. Trucking is necessary. Necessary in the sense that, okay, maybe from Apapa to Agege, from Agege to Ikeja and all that, but not all the way to Karanamoda and the rest of it. I mean, so we must look for a better way to solve this problem. And we must not give excuse that, are we going to say rain should not fall because we have to carry fuel? And then you now say that it's because rain has fallen, that's why you are having fuel scarcity. The NNPC always says we have over 30 days or 60 days stock of fuel. If you cannot go to the coastal area to carry the imported one, what has happened to the 60 or 30 days supply that you have? So we always give excuses, and all this continue because those who are in the who are in the office are not sanctioned. The NNPC MD has been there for how many years now? If he's not performing, is there no another person that can do better? Because if you give me a job and I know that if I don't perform, there's another person waiting. I don't have a godfather that will tell you that please leave him, he will improve. I mean, we've given this man more than 8 years. He hasn't improved.
He has declared state of emergency.
State of emergency for what?
On the crude supply.
Declaring a state of emergency is a word of mouth. Anybody can declare a state of emergency. If you declare a state of emergency, does that mean that will bring the solution? No. You declare a state of emergency and then you find a solution. But in our own case, was it up to a month or two ago that we are talking about this fuel scarcity? We are back to it again. Queues will be back everywhere and so on and so forth. We will talk about it after some time.
The price has increased.
Yeah. Of course. After some time, it will go down. And I still remain convinced that all this talk about the price they are selling it is the problem. It is not the problem. Even if you increase it to 1,000 today, tomorrow again they will bring another problem and tell you it. We cannot continue to say that because Benin Republic or Togo or Ghana or wherever they are selling it at 1,500, then we must use that as an argument. Look, the way I am now, my child should not complain that Dangote's children are getting better allowances than he or she is getting because I'm not Dangote. So if you are rich and you cannot use that to influence your environment, why should you compare yourself with those who are poor? So Nigerians should not, all this bad that they are selling petrol 1,500 in Ghana, therefore we are still buying. If we buy petrol in Nigeria at 100 naira per liter, I don't think it is too much for us. I mean, I don't think it is something we should worry about because we have it in abundance. All we just need is to apply that resources adequately well.
All right. The barrister, doctor talked about diversifying the downstream oil sector and giving it to experts who know how to do it better. But understanding the principle of capitalism, do you think that would work for Nigeria?
Of course, it's going to work because if you have experts on the logistic angle to it, okay? Because the truth is that government does not control the logistics. The logistics are actually controlled by independent marketers. You understand? What government control is NNPC do the importation. Okay? Then when they import, people who are coming to buy are the ones that will determine, that is the filling station owners and the truck owners, the independent marketers, the Nupeng. Yeah, that's their umbrella name. They are the ones that do the lifting and all that. Government does not regulate that one. Okay? And since government does not regulate that one, whatever it is that affects the vessel, okay, because the problem started from this excessive rain, 10 hours plus, that created flood. So the mother vessel, okay, because the vessel that actually bring PMS, they don't dock at your shore.
Oh.
They don't.
The very large ones.
Yes, the mother vessel will be on the high sea. The daughter vessels are the ones that will move from your shore, your seaport to that, and they will now transfer it into, because those mother vessels are not built to dock.
Oh.
Because when they get stuck in the sand, they can't move again. It's too heavy. So that is where the problem. So the thunderstorm and the rainfall prevented the daughter vessels from meeting the mother vessels, and that is where the chain of causation was broken. So time wasted, no supply. The trucks were waiting to move this thing around, but that didn't happen. So while before the water receded and they had to start moving, scarcity has already happened in between. So that's exactly what happened. So if government wants to regulate, I don't think it will be easy for government to regulate this downstream sector in the logistic angle of it. I doubt. The reason being that we may even have more problem if the government decided to be the one. The one government was doing before was the piping. Yes, that's the one government was involved in before now. And everywhere in the United States, that's how it's done. You transport it that way. Because the advantage of that is that it will reduce pressure on the road. One, it will minimize cost. It doesn't cost anything to move it through the pipe. So that differentials, because sometimes what you incur as costs from the seaport to the community for the end users and to interstates for all end users across the country, when you put it together, those who are in Anambra or those who are in Ebonyi or those who are in Akwa Ibom, Maiduguri, cannot buy it the amount that we will buy it in Lagos. Because the seaport is a stone throw away from us. So we bought 710 on Saturday, 710. I learned some people bought 750.
Yeah.
That is in Lagos. When you go to far places like Maiduguri, you will buy it for 1,000 plus.
Yes.
Because of that differential. But if you have a pipe transportation, that whole cost is extinguished. The roads are free. The risk is extinguished. So that is so. If we must decide, there are a lot of other things you use truck to move, not just crude. If we want to keep the business of haulage business, there are other things you can use haulage. In fact, there are other people into haulage in that they don't do truck, they don't do crude, they don't do PMS or diesel. So the market is an open one for everybody to explore whatever it is. All you need is when you buy the truck head, you cannot decide what to build at the back, whether you are building a tank or you are building a what they call it, whatever it is, carriage. So where we are is that I don't think government can take on that logistic issue. It will remain a private business, but it should be regulated. It should be regulated, heavily regulated, because sometimes the independent marketers, they can create artificial scarcity. They can just decide now that the cost of moving it has increased. Then those who own this thing will say they cannot pay. They will say they cannot move. You've seen it now. Sometimes they go on strike.
Yes.
They go on strike because government really has not moderated them. They can decide anything. There was time they say their proper this in the road is not too congested, therefore they will not move it across. We had the period in the country, there was scarcity. It was done the high sea, on tanks, on storage, but people didn't have it. And because government cannot undertake that angle, government can't do it. So you see how they also used to hold government to ransom and all that. They do that a lot. It has even reduced today when NNPC is now the sole importer. In those days, these people used to import too. I mean, these marketers, they used to import too. You remember 2012?
Exactly.
Part of the problem was that some of them will not import. They will bring spreadsheets, take it to DPR. DPR will connive with them. They will endorse. They will do. They say they will now ask for the differentials, that subsidy, and that was not led Farouk Lawan to the case between Femi Otedola and him and all that. In those days when they were doing all those things, so we have come of age. What we need to do now is to deploy the best possible international best practice on movement of this thing, and that is still piping. We have AI now. We have so many technological opportunity and platform through which you can move goods. There are countries where they move heavier things than other, and it gets around the country in just a short while. So I don't know why we are stuck in this trucking in 2024. Why are we trucking crude? That's the question. When I say crude, PMS, why are we trucking it? Why are we trucking? We don't even have roads to even truck it. Then we are still overheating the ones that are left.
It's actually very so unfortunate.
I don't know this kind of country.
If you take a look at other countries in the sub-Saharan region of Africa, Ivory Coast, for example, they don't talk about all of this. They don't even know what the price of PMS is in the country. And this begs the question if it's an element of their less population, or is it about their leaders doing the right thing? In 60 seconds, Doctor.
No, it's not that. It's just that it's not a question of population. Population should be an asset. It shouldn't be a problem. But in our own situation, we find out that the problem that we have is leadership. If you have the right leadership, Nigeria will change. Someone has said before that if you take the whole of people in Nigeria and go and deposit them in the United States of America, and you bring the Americans to Nigeria, in 5 years, things will turn around, and Nigerians in America will want to come back. So that's the problem. It's a problem of leadership. It's not a question of whether population or not. America is bigger than Nigeria. America has more population than Nigeria.
Over 300 million. Over 300 million.
So what are we talking about? And the land mass also.
Yes.
So I think our problem is just getting the right people to do the right thing at the right time.
Very true. We can actually stop saying it. Getting the right people to do the right things. Having round pegs in the round holes in Nigeria. That's basically what we need. Don't you think so?
Yeah. Sure, that's what we need. And at this point where we can't say we have them, the few we have, let's try to, we just pray that they learn to change and renew their minds.
Very true.
That's
very so true. Yes, so love to say thank you to Pastor Vansofeli.
Thank you.
Thank you for all the things you've shared with us and making sense of our discussions today. Dr. Olainka Oyabile, thank you. Also as well for always making our time to be part of our show. Choma, thank you.
Thank you, Harry.
For being a great co-host with me today. But most importantly, we'd love to say thank you to you for always giving us your time whenever we call. We truly do appreciate your time. But please do well to visit our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com and also like, comment respectfully and to follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. I am Henry Igwebike.
And I'm Choma.
On behalf of the entire team of Enterprise Television, we'd love to say thank you for watching once more and bye-bye from us.
Bye-bye.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.